Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd, and today is, thank God it's Friday. Again, seems like I was just listening to Mark and Mr. C yesterday, and we're back again. Sorry I'm late to the show. I actually called Jeff Rom. I texted him. He didn't get the text, so I had to call him like 6 minutes before, actually 4 minutes before the show, to verify rumors, gossip, that the Rodriguez estate is releasing funds. As the asset manager for the Rodriguez estate, Jeff has assured me that, as far as he knows, there's no funds being released. And again, he says, that's internet rumor. They publish it all the time. And then I challenged him on that and said, well, I haven't seen it lately. He goes, well, they've published it in the past. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right, got that. So that's why I'm late. Well, I'm always checking. I've got Dr. Sandy Mierecki, retired lieutenant colonel, coming on next week. I need to cement her in for a time and date for next week. But definitely on Tuesday. I've already scheduled it. And I've gone and I perused 5 videos. I believe it was. Yeah, 5 videos, and pulled out some really good information. Look for this thumb. It's about robots, drones, artificial intelligence, and autonomous vehicles. Get over here. Yeah, there we go. Now I can see what's happening. Thank you for that. As you see from the thumbnail, I have Wesley Keith Mullings back on the show. I've had him on before. I was introduced to him through Brian Robertson, Pastor of the Way. And I don't know how far he's progressed. We periodically talk. We don't have casual conversations on a steady basis, but we do communicate off and on. I'm busy. He's busy. We're all busy. Especially when you have a social media platform, it gets difficult to find time to reach out to people because people are always reaching out to you. So that's always my deal. And when you call me, if you call me and I'm doing a live and I tell you, hey, I'll call you back after the show, and I don't call you back after the show, I forgot about you or you got bumped. And now you're so far down the list that I can't catch up. And, it's 2 or 3 days later, and I'm going to go find you 3 weeks later when I'm like really digging for stuff. It's just, it comes with the territory. I try to stay on top of it as much as possible, but things pop up. People call you out of the blue with sometimes topics that you can just easily jump into, others more complicated. So is what it is. And I try to get everybody. If you're tuning in, you have any RV knowledge, Rodriguez Estate is not divvying up funds. So there you go with that. What else did I want to cover? That's it. Always looking for new guests, new topics. So if you have somebody in mind that you want me to get on the show, let me know. I'll be more than happy to reach out to them, try to get them on here. Topics, same thing. Some of you sent me some stuff. Y'all want me to get Quigley on here. I believe it's John Quigley, who claims to be JFK Jr. So I'll reach out to him, see if I can get him on here. Jeff didn't say anything about coming back on the show. Elizabeth, she will eventually be back on the show. I just don't know when yet. Generally, when we're dealing with Elizabeth and Jeff, per se, once one makes an appearance, kind of got to let the dust settle before you get them back on, or they'll, that would be the direction of the conversation is that way, and that's not why I want either of them on my show. I'm just searching for the truth, whatever that looks like. I could care less who does what and what they look like, who they are. I don't give a crap, really. When you come this far with so many different things, as I have been doing this just day after day after day, grinding. Not only are you hustling, trying to make a living, keep your head above water, but you're trying to, get out of all that bullshit. So all your extra time is dedicated to focusing on, the paperwork, the processes, reading, researching, watching videos, talking to people, asking questions, answering questions. It just, it's monotonous and goes on and on and on and on. and I'm still getting all organized from my first floor being flooded. So I literally have a handful of things on the third floor that I need to pull down, that I just haven't had time to go up there and get them and walk 2 flights of stairs and bring them down and figure out where they're going to go from there. I still have some stuff in the garage to deal with. I got that mostly organized. So now it's all my internal stuff that's sitting in my old office that I have to go through, like every freaking page of every piece of paper that's in there. Files got disorganized because I had to run in there and dig for something, and they weren't in the file cabinet. They were just laying, so they got all disorganized. Now, I've told you I've done several videos already on the 1099A process, secure party process. CS3KB Trust is coming up, W4 Sandwich is coming up, and probably a couple more. And I've done all of that. And I have all this paperwork from doing all this stuff. And I'm kind of sick of it. I'm nauseated. I just don't want it around me anymore. I'd rather move on because I haven't been able to move up. I've just been moving. Whether up or down, I've just been moving. So I decided to stop doing everything November of 2022. I had packages set up for everybody from the Pope, World Court, International Court of Justice, The Hague, DC, many departments, agencies, and bureaus in DC, Texas, Harris County, Houston, probably 4 dozen at least. And I'm putting all these packages together, and I'm like, man, does this ever end? Where's the stopping point? So that's when I stopped. I was like, this is just ridiculous. It harkened me back to my days when I was incarcerated and I was doing just this monstrous legal work. Monstrositus. Okay, I just made up a new word. I coined that. But it was a monstrosity of all of this litigation that I was doing. And I was doing stuff that was so far outside the normal legal box because I was, okay, I know it didn't work. Let me go try to find something else that nobody else has used and see if that works. And that's kind of what I was doing, thinking outside the box in a legal mentality because I wasn't trained in their law school. So I wasn't trained to follow that blueprint, cookie cutter, boilerplate pattern to get you from A to Z for whatever legal field that you're dealing with. So I was very open-minded. But it harkened me back to that where, you just keep doing all this over and over and over, and you just You never get ahead. Or when you think it's going to work, it fails, and it fails usually at the wrong time, wrong place, and you get hemmed up and you get popped before freaking, let's just say driving. Okay. I'm just using this as an example. And you expect this, do not detain process to work, and it didn't work. So you got 4 tickets. Then you're going to file all this paperwork in court as, talking for you. Because when the hearing's set by the court for you to come in there and handle yourself, you threw a bunch of paperwork at them thinking it's going to talk for you. But basically what you did is, instead of appearing before the court, you disappeared before the court. They don't like it when you disappear, when you disrespect them like that. And that's why the repercussions and consequences get a little bit more serious after that. And then, when you continue to do the dumb shit, they hem your ass up. And then they start putting you in positions that kind of don't feel real comfortable being in, if you get my drift. So it's been a long journey for me. You will see in these videos how long I've been doing this and how much material that I really, really had over a decade ago. All the same stuff that you're seeing now, doing all these processes, there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. However, when you review my guest, Wesley Keith Mullins' procedures that he has followed, he works in a specific way. He has specific goals for each process that he has accomplished. It works like a suit of armor. You can put the helmet on. Let's just say the helmet is a secured party process, and you put a lien against whatever. Okay. Boom. Now I got my helmet on, but I'm still exposed down here. So he may put on another process, or give him a chest plate. So now he needs something for his arms and his legs and his feet. So he'll do something else, and he'll attach all these pieces. And according to Wesley and how he was going to explain this, he's armored, he's protected, he's insulated. He's made it to the point where, do we really want to go there and mess with that dude? Or should we just pass on him, and because we got 100 more lined up, ready to go, that are not going to be a problem like he will. Not going to cost us money like he will. So it's going to be real interesting in his presentation, what he's going to bring to you, how he's going to do it. Now, he wants to do a class. We've agreed to run it through my platform. I don't know if we're going to do a class, classes, modules. I don't know how much they're going to cost. I don't know any of that yet. Him and I talked. We worked all this out as far as, okay, that's the basics, and we're scheduled him to come on the show. Today, he's going to talk about the trademark. We're just going to call it tentatively, roughly, trademark class. Okay, this is Wesley Keith Mullins' trademark class. So I'm sure he's going to walk you through some of the stuff that he's done. I would imagine he's going to take us through the website, give us a little tour, and kind of explain to you how he got from A to where he is today. And I don't know if that's Z or T or M or K. We're going to find out. And like what I do with all my guests, when I know that they're going to come on the show, I keep myself dumbed down and ignorant as much as possible. I try to, talk to them and get the business side of it taken care of, because that's kind of what we did. We just got the agreement in place, but there's really no set terms and conditions within that agreement. We've just done the broad outline. That's where we're at. Now we need to get down to the brass tacks, the specifics of what we're going to have in that agreement. So when we bring you something, we're going to bring you something high quality, just like Ann's book, Ann's classes. And I'm very humbled and gracious that he reached out to me and chose me out of all the other platforms out there to do this. I hope it's, because of my reputation, how I run my classes, how I do my videos, how I do my presentation, how I run the Telegram classes, how my stores run. You're not going to hear any complaints from not one of my customers. They're always happy. I am more than generous with them. In fact, I just had an order from British Columbia, Canada, and that's a 50. I was actually, I got it for right around 40 to 60 bucks shipping. I can't remember what, because you got, when it goes out of the country now, I have to pay tariffs. Yeah, those things Trump's talking about. Yeah, when anything goes out of this country, like the UK, Australia, tariffs, absolutely. So it costs to ship money out of there, but I ate that. I was like, I'm not even going through the hassle. It's holidays, Christmas. I'm just happy to be in a position to be able to do what I do every day. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to do that. So, and how I got there is because I just went, you know what? I've been driving my car for a long time, and I haven't been doing a very good job of driving my life around. So I gave the keys to God and let God drive. And I'm in the back seat of the limo. I'm on the phone. I'm just relaxing. Where are you taking me today, God? Who are you going to put in my life today? What kind of blessings are we going to have? That's how I look at it. And sometimes my days end up just being astonishing. People that I meet, people that I talk to, you guys, it's been a blast. It's been a fun ride. This is probably the first winter that I've gone through where I have not been depressed one single day, which is remarkable because my father passed away in November. My mom's birthday is December 23rd. Of course, Christmas, Thanksgiving. So November, December really sucked for me generally. In the past, I would usually be smoking crack on both holidays because that's how depressed I was, how much I hated the holidays. But those days are behind me, and now I'm able to do what I do. So I'm very grateful, very thankful, humbled to bring on Wesley Keith Mullings to share his knowledge, his experience, his wisdom, and definitely his accomplishments, what he's done in what we call the private process or the private community. I'm going to let him break down who he is, all that, just like I do with all my guests, let them give them their own introduction. So without further ado, let me bring the infamous, the notorious Wesley Keith Mullins to the stage. How you doing, my brother?
Floyd. You made me feel
welcome back.
So big. Oh my goodness. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Tell everybody who you are.
Wesley Keith Mullings. There are a good amount of people who are familiar with my work and my progress as I've gotten to where I am currently. I'm a former, I'm a Marine. I'm a former drill sergeant, served in the military 10 years. And my journey in these spaces started with child support, like a lot of men here. I understand that not everybody has gone through that route or, dealing with that situation, but it's been a really rough journey. I can tell you that. Just like Floyd had mentioned earlier, as far as being able to try different methods, different processes, different techniques, I had my balls kicked in several times. Been incarcerated several times. And this is from somebody who, up until the age of 40, hadn't seen the inside of a jail for any reason. So, coming off of a clean record, all of a sudden getting dragged into jail, on a monthly or quarterly basis was something that was definitely the purpose was to try to discourage me from doing any more of these types of studies. But they don't understand when you're fighting against, somebody who's been in the Marine Corps, and then even worse, being a drill sergeant. Getting them to quit is impossible. So we are here. Now, the thing that got me to figure out about the trademark or how this works is having the experiences of having a lot of these processes being disregarded, dishonored, ignored, or even just ridiculed. So it got me thinking, and it was a quandary for some time. How do I get these people to respect what it is that I'm doing? Because I'm trying to do this with clean hands and in good faith. I'm not trying to go against the rules. I'm not trying to operate outside of the rules. So, what would give the proper foundation and credence that they can respect? And the way that this developed was this: I got dragged into um, a domestic violence situation where this woman lied on me and said that I cussed at her, and I ended up getting locked up twice for this. After the second time I got locked up, we were going through the court proceedings on how to, what the court wanted to do, and I was dealing with this female judge and another female prosecutor. Both of them were clearly feminists to me, bragging about how they're going to put me in jail from 3 to 5 years for domestic violence. I'd be on the registry lists for the state, and all this other stuff. And I forgot when I got arrested that I had this trademark. So I woke up 2 months after I got out of jail the second time, and I got a download. The download asked me the question, what are you going to do about this trademark you have? And I said, oh, yeah, I do have this trademark. And it was a federal mark with the USPTO. So I decided to look up the laws, and I spent all day. I studied probably 20 hours that day on the laws of trademark. Said, okay, there's a lot here. I went to sleep, and I got up the very next morning, got another download. And that download said, now how are you going to defend that mark? And in that instant, I got the entire strategy downloaded to me. From that point, I started trying to talk to people who were still bar members, friends of mine who are lawyers, attorneys. Hey, how does this work? What do you think about this? How do you think this is going to work? And I'll tell you, it was 3 different attorneys in 3 different areas. And everyone except for one said, this is genius. This is brilliant. How did you figure this out? One was in Maine, one was in Georgia, and the other one was in Massachusetts. Now, the one that was in Massachusetts was the only one that said, it's flawed. But then when I asked him, well, where's the flaw? What's the problem with it? Tell me. I want to fix it. He never responded back because that attorney's business model was fighting the Department of Child Protective Services. So he understood that this would eat into his business model. So I said, oh, okay. Not a problem. You don't have to answer. I'm good. I think I'm good. So I continued on. Now, after I finished getting the strategy put together, I put everything together. I gave one notice to the court. And I didn't know who was prosecuting, so I didn't send another package. When we got to court, the very next hearing, when the judge, the same feminist judge, asked my name on the record, typical stuff, your name for the record. I told her, and this is verbatim, I am the holder in due course of registered trademark number 902837884. And she hesitated. What? What'd you say? I said it slower. I'm the holder in due course of registered trademark number 90283784. Do I need to say it a third time? And she, from that point on, and I got the hearing recorded. Yeah, I got the video of it, so you can see how everything went down. In 12 minutes, this woman never said the name Wesley Keith Mullings or Mr. Mullings ever again. I was Mr. Trademark, Mr. Mark, Mr. Holder, holder in due course, the holder. I was not Wesley Keith Mullings for anything. During the course of this, the judge throws the prosecutor under the bus. Well, did you get the same notice that the court received? And the prosecutor didn't even want to talk on the record, but she's hemming and hawing. Well, no, we didn't get anything. So I was able to say to the prosecutor, well, if you give me your email address, then I can send it to you and you'll be able to dismiss. So we got it on the record. I told her I expect her to dismiss. Now, that wasn't the end of the story, because for all of me telling them I expect you to dismiss, they didn't. They tried to calendar another hearing. Now, anyone who's been in this situation, a domestic violence matter, you're the defendant because you're the one who apparently did something to victimize someone else. If you're the defendant of a domestic violence matter and you don't show up to the next hearing, that's a bench warrant. Instantly. They actually look for you to not show up. They hope you don't show up. And the way that I knew that this was the way, and I had a way to monitor if my name was on the local sheriff's warrant list. I didn't get a warrant for not showing up to that hearing. They sent another warrant. I didn't show up for that hearing either. I also didn't get a bench warrant for either of the two hearings. It happened a third time, and I still didn't show up. So, a month after the third time they tried to calendar this, and I didn't show up, I get a phone call from an unlisted number. And I pick up the phone. Good morning. The person on the other end says, can I please speak to the holder in due course? I said, oh, somebody woke up and smelled some coffee. What can I do for you? This is Judge such and such from this court, blah, blah, blah. I've got the prosecutor here. We'd like to dismiss all the charges. Can we get this on the record, please? I said, absolutely. Let's do that. Got on the record. They dismissed all the charges. There was nothing that I needed to say. I got the dismissal paper the very next day. So the point of them not mentioning the name on the record in either of those hearings, and the point of not being able to get a warrant issued, was my evidence that this works. And if I could defeat domestic violence, I could almost defeat anything. Because the principle is this: we're in a capitalist society. Everybody does something for pay or some kind of compensation. So as a result, we know that they're trying to get money out of us some way, somehow. And the purpose of trademark is to discourage anyone from trying to use something they don't have the exclusive rights to in the effort to profit. So that being the situation now, and having that understanding, I know that courts are in business. The purpose of them issuing fines and fees actually is the bulk of the financing for all of their operations. That's why courts are always upgrading the building, upgrading the technology, upgrading all of the features of whatever it is that they're doing. It's because of the fines and fees. That gets drawn into the county, it gets drawn into the state, it gets drawn into the federal government, all because they're taking this out of people who are being brought in on certain charges that may or may not apply to them. This causes, some conflict of interest, in my view. So, there was a principle when I first started learning about this, about the dead corporate entity that is called the straw man. That straw man is not actually me. It is an avatar, if you will, of who I am to this system. Kind of like being in the Matrix, right? You have that avatar that you live through in the Matrix. You're not actually there, but they got it in your head that you're there. So let me flip this game. That's what my thinking was. Let me flip this game. So if they see me as that, then when I do this trademark, I need to take control of that they see me as. It's not about how I see myself. It's about how they see me. So if I take control of that entity, then that means I have, number one, exclusive rights. And that includes the exclusion of the jurisdiction itself. And then beyond that, that means that with their efforts in trying to profit off of this, even if they tried to intentionally change the arrangement of my name, or use initials, or intentionally misspell it, no matter what, if they use whatever they use and are still pointing at me, that's a derivative of my mark. You're trying to counterfeit my mark. So having exclusive rights now of something that I've been using since birth, you don't have a license for that. And having whoever is the licensor has carte blanche rights to determine what the terms and conditions are for the use of their property. So now understanding that, I was like, oh my goodness, what can I not do with this? This is fantastic. How can this work? And it was all in what I had studied. I'm going to show you something. Okay. And let's see. Here we go. Okay. We have here 15 USC 1122. As we see, the title is The Liability of United States and States and Instrumentalities and Officials Thereof. You see the highlighted section here, which is subsection B. And it says, waiver of sovereign immunity by states. Any state, instrumentality of a state, or any officer or employee of a state, or instrumentality of a state, acting in his or her official capacity, shall not be immune under the 11th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, or under any other doctrine of sovereign immunity from suit in federal court by any person, including any governmental or non-governmental entity, for any violation under this chapter. That one law completely blew my mind out of my skull. And I said, there's almost nothing I can't do with this. This is fantastic. I know that one of the big things that people are trying to work with is right to travel. I know that another thing that people are trying to deal with is dealing with seizures, unlawful or unreasonable seizures. Another thing that people are dealing with is things dealing with family court just in total, not just domestic violence. I'm also talking about parental alienation. I'm also talking about child support. I'm also talking about being able to not be separated from their children by DCF or any other type of agency that works that way. This is a remedy, or this is a bridge to another, what I consider a primary remedy, which is to become a secured party creditor. So to have that status and then have your trust established and then to have this registered trademark, you're untouchable. I had a friend of mine. This is an actual testimony. I had a friend of mine. He doesn't study any of this. He knows about it. He hasn't studied it. And all that I've done is to help him get his trademark registered in the state. He was in the very state that, as a matter of fact, he just recently was jailed for something dealing with a loaded shotgun. They released him. He's still pending, getting that dismissed. And he got pulled over by a municipality that's kind of known for bullying. I gave him his instructions when he got out of jail, what to carry in the car with him and how to present it. When the cop shows up, asks for the typical stuff, license, insurance, registration, so on and so forth. He gives them those three things, as well as a copy of his registered trademark. Cop, he starts to go to his car, didn't clear the car length, turns right back around, gives him all his stuff back, and tells him, now you be careful. That says a lot. That is a huge testimony. And I celebrated with him. Congratulations. You don't have to worry about anyone trying to come at you. Not like that.
And those stories are out there, and people hear these stories and don't fulfill all the separate mechanisms to put this, and I'll use a Swiss watch as an analogy. Okay, if you don't have all the parts in a watch, it's not going to work. And you have to have all these parts in place. It has to operate. If it doesn't, you're going to get sideways real quick. You're going to be in a position that you're not going to be able to talk your way out of, pay your way out of. It's going to be blood, sweat, and tears.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got another story real fast.
Sure.
There was a father that I was helping with dealing with a child support matter. He had been paying child support for 18 years. And he still had two other daughters, that he was still paying child support on at the moment. But something had happened where the girls decided on their own they want to move with their father. So they were having a hearing about that. The judge started off talking about the child support. Oh, well, you owe this, you've been paying this, and you stopped paying this, that, and the other. And by the time we got to the hearing, I think it was, February, I believe. And the girls had moved in with him way back in like September. So he's like, look, I already got the girls in, where I'm with the municipality I'm in, and they're in the school system. I got their health care taken care of. I'm doing what I need to do as a father. And he casually said, yeah, and Your Honor, my name is a registered trademark. The judge instantly stopped and starts fumbling through papers. Wait a minute, what? Huh? And starts stumbling on his words and says, and tries to kind of itch this out there. Oh, there's nothing in the law that says I can't use your trademark. But at the same time, he stopped talking about the child support. And actually ended the child support in the same hearing. Completely. Just done.
That's awesome.
That was fabulous. I was extremely proud of him. Because even a casual, oh yeah, my name is a registered trademark. Didn't even say what the number was. But it worked.
Yeah, and explain why it works.
So here's the deal. And let's go back to that law. We're going to go right back to that law.
Okay. Let me pop.
Here we are. So, again, any state, instrumentality of a state, or any officer or employee of a state or instrumentality of a state acting in his or her official capacity shall not be immune under the 11th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States or any other doctrine of sovereign immunity from suit in federal court by any person, including any governmental or non-governmental entity, for any violation under this chapter. And what is the chapter? Trademarks. So let's kind of piece this together. Any state, right? And when we mention any state, there are two levels of trademark. There's state level and there's federal. So even with a state level mark, you're able to enforce this law because, as you see, it does not differentiate a state level mark versus a federal level mark. But it does say you can bring the case to federal court. And the federal court has to honor the state level mark all the same. Let's keep going. The 11th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. When we hear about qualified immunity, sovereign immunity, judicial immunity, absolute immunity, these all come under the 11th Amendment. So to be able to have a judge stripped of that kind of protection that they usually get by default, now they're liable to everything like anyone else because the effort of the court is to make money in some way, right? And especially if the action that was taken in court is an administrative or executive function. Because as we well know, judges and courts, they can switch hats like we do. They can act in admiralty, they can act in maritime, they can also act, ecclesiastically or ministerially. So it doesn't matter what kind of hat they have on. If they're trying to profit, then they're held liable, period. Right? So let's kind of let's use a scenario with child support. We're told that, oh, this is for the benefit of the child. This is for the needs of the child. But there's a court case, Blessing versus Freestone. It was decided in 1997 that child support or Title 4D funding is not for custodial parents nor children. It does not offer individual rights. So who's the beneficiary of these kinds of funds? It's the state. So here's the mind blower. We're not coming against the child support agency in the same way that we would try and litigate against somebody who, crashed into your car. What we're going after is they're only maintaining this case in order to make a profit with the contracts that exist between that state and the federal government. You're making money that way. So now that you're making money that way, you're infringing. There's nothing else that needs to be said. It's not like they can't say, oh, we're not having that contract. No, you do have that contract. The opinion for Blessing versus Freestone was written by Sandra Day O'Connor. And she admitted that the federal government underwrites 2/3 of the funds that have been collected. Excuse me. So for every dollar that's collected, the federal government subsidizes that state with an additional 67 cents. So now we got you in the contract. It's not a contract with us. It's a third-party contract with two people we don't care about, the state and the federal government. And yes, this does work with child support matters where you're not even in that particular state. People, this is the absolute master key to being able to unlock quite a few of these remedies. Let's go into something else. A lot of people have been studying equity or trying to express equity when they're dealing with court matters, right? And a lot of folks are coming back with, being discouraged, disheartened. I can't, get them in equity. I can't, get them to recognize equity. They're just doing what they want to do. The reason why is because they're trying to continue to hold you accountable to the commerciality of what they're doing. They're trying to make money off of you. So if I had this trademark and I present the trademark and say the court is not allowed to use my mark without my license, I have effectively foreclosed on their ability in total for using that.
My bad. I was kicking his share screen from the studio and it kicked him as well. So if you're watching, Wesley, jump back on. I apologize for that. I had no idea it would do that, folks. So we're waiting on Wesley. I'm going to dive into some other things, especially the topic that I covered yesterday on the Venezuelan baller. There he is. My bad, brother.
I've learned how to recover quick on that.
Yeah, I was kicking your share screen out of the studio and it kicked both of you out.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah. My apologies.
No problem.
Sorry for interrupting. Carry on.
We're continuing. So what we're able to do is if I'm able to foreclose on the court's ability to move in the commercial realm, then the only thing available for the court to actually do is equity. So it works hand in hand. It's kind of like if we were to use an analogy of being in a fight and equity is one hand and trademark is the other. Whatever hand I'm holding the guy with is the trademark, and equity can wail on that face. Let's go to something else. Let's use another scenario. Right to travel. Now, the method that I use for right to travel, I combine the trademark with US DOT. So having a US DOT number owned by a trust, the car is owned outright by the same trust. It's not registered with the state, and we apply the US DOT number on a tag, a private tag, to the car. And I also, at the same time, I have a self-insurance bond. I have done, in the law, I've done everything I could to show my intent to whatever law enforcement officer stops me, that this is private, the car is private. I'm not moving in a commercial capacity for any reason. And my name is also trademarked to prevent any commercial, commerciality by that jurisdiction. So there's no way
Unsolicited commerce. That would be probably an
Right.
apt term.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's preventing their unsolicited commerce from prevailing in any kind of court or jurisdiction. Even if they brought it to the court, the judge, and this actually happened to somebody. The guy got pulled over, he got the tickets, and he had to show up for the court date. He shows up at the court date, and the guy was prepared. He had a binder this thick of all his documentation, everything that he's done on his entire journey, and he was ready to present it. The cop that pulled him over, he sees him over to the side, and he's in his civilian clothes, which tells me they brought him in on his day off. So I said, oh, this is unusual. So he calls the case. Guy comes up, puts his binder on the desk, and he gets him sworn in, so on and so forth, his appearance. And the cop is standing there. The cop wasn't sworn in or brought in to the case at all, but he was standing there. And the judge says, oh, we got these charges, we got this situation, blah, blah, blah. He runs down everything. And we have this gentleman here. He doesn't name him. We have this gentleman here being brought in on these particular charges. And instantly, and everybody in the courtroom was like, what? He instantly said, dismissed, and looked directly at the cop to let the cop know you don't do this with these people. Because as we well know, they're not going to tell us what's going on, or they're going to try not to tell us what's going on. But because of that trademark, and because of everything that was presented to the cop, the judge understood the man's not moving in commerce. Those vehicle laws don't apply to what he's doing. And it was a lesson to that cop. Don't you ever do that again. It was a fantastic testimony. Absolutely fantastic. So I would say to anyone, I say to everyone, if you're going through these processes, yes, start off with the secured party process, but definitely and without fail, get your straw man trademark. There's going to be some people who are trying to say, oh, but you can't own the name. Oh, really? Well, did you earn the name? Who gave you the name? Your parents gifted you that name because that's actually their intellectual property before you arrived. So who are you to say that's not your name? You've been gifted the name. You weren't in a capacity to deny the gift. You were using the gift. So yes, that is your name. But it's not your fault that they created a trust that has the same name. That's not your problem, but it will be theirs. Because if you have exclusive rights to the name, where can they put a claim in? Where can they use it? One of the things that I like to do when it comes to court matters, I like to show up to court. And all the thought process, oh, no, you should never show up in court. Nah, I go to court. I love going to court because I like counting heads. How many people am I going to take out? How many people am I going to lay low because of what they're trying to do? Because they cannot deny that trademark. I have exclusive rights over it. And here's another thing. Trademark is international law. The United States itself does not have the authority to change trademark law. So they cannot stop you. They cannot prevent you from doing what you're going to do. But this is also not a green light for you to be assholes out there or bullying people based on you having a trademark. You have to operate with clean hands and in good faith. at all times. There's no excuses for that. Trust me, the trademark hits hard enough. You do not have to put force behind it. You don't have to yell. You don't have to stomp your feet. You don't have to do any of that. So I would encourage everyone, get your trademark for that straw man. We're going, myself and Floyd, we're going to be working together very, very tightly in getting this incorporated on his platform with whatever way he wants to present this. Whether it's classes, whether it's something pre-recorded, whether it's modules, to me, it doesn't matter. And there are some providers who will say to you, oh, but I can help you file it. Filing the mark doesn't mean anything. It's defending the mark. What good is it if you can't defend it?
Or enforce your rights.
Exactly.
Yes.
We've already experienced that. Most of us, we have the rights, but we keep getting run over because we don't know how to express it. But
and that's the training there.
That's the meat and potatoes here.
Right.
That's
what I tell everybody. You can do all the processes you want. You can file all the paperwork you want. You can get all this status and standing you want. But if you get on the square and you can't talk, oh, you shit out of luck.
Completely. And you've heard from those testimonies, even a casual mention is going to cause them to jump through hoops. Huh? Ooh, wait, oh, flip through papers, huh? I'm not sure. Wait, but there was nothing in the law that said I can't use it. He knew better. It's not about the law. It's about a license. You don't have a license. He knew better.
Right.
So this is the great equalizer.
Without getting into the minutia of what enforcement and defending that looks like, but part of that would be having a pre-established fee schedule filed on the record, correct?
Oh, absolutely. That actually enforces what you are able to demand if there's any kind of violation. Absolutely.
And you'll walk everybody through these steps. Oh, yeah. So all this in the class. Oh, yeah. Like I said, we don't know how it's going to work. So I don't want the first class to be a test piece, the crash test dummy class. So that's what we're trying to work on, is how this curriculum is going to be like water. It's going to take the path of least resistance to get from Wesley to you to defend and enforce it.
Exactly.
We don't want to make this overly complicated, overly long, dragged out over multiple classes, multiple months. And that's not what we're here about. This should be quick, easy, in and out, move on.
Very, very easy. That's one of the reasons why I bring up my military experience, especially being a drill sergeant, because drill sergeants have always been under a tight schedule to get a big amount of information into people's heads on a consistent basis and have as few failures as possible. I follow that even to this day. So exactly. Yeah, you are going to know how to move, how to speak, how to present this, and how to hold people accountable, even if they decide to, oh, we're going to run over them anyway. Oh, yeah, well, you just going to put your arm all the way down to the elbow this time? Oh, next time you go into the shoulder? Oh, okay. When I cinch it off, you ain't getting it back.
Are you available for a live seminar, weekend seminar?
When?
I'm looking towards the end of February, and
sure.
The location would be in Plano, Texas.
Sure, absolutely.
At the Sky Pony Gallery, you'll love the facility. It's gorgeous. It's an art gallery. They have sculptures, paintings, arts, crafts, incense. I mean, great people, fully stocked, open bar.
Okay. Sounds good. Sure.
I fell in love with it first time I went there, and then I met the owners, and that's where I met Wano Saban, -48, and Dallas,
nice.
all those cats, Chris Eriks, Baby Trump. And of course, I met the owners. So it was, yeah, wonderful people. And I'm trying to I was going to do something at the end of January, but it's just, I'm pressed for time, holidays, the inauguration, all
Yep.
this uncertainty between now and then. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's just get past all that and get into the next month, and I can get
Sure.
something a little bit more
Yeah, we can do that.
static. Okay, yeah, definitely. James has committed. James Lovett.
Okay.
So I'm going to reach out to some other people. I'll probably bring Corey Indrelat. You don't know who he is?
Not yet. No.
A prodigy. He's 24. He's written 8 or 9 books. You talk to him, and you're like, oh my god, dude, how old are you?
Hey, it's great to have talent around you.
Well, it's up to us, okay, the seniors in this movement to go find those youngsters who are on this Gen Z, X, Y, LGBT, whatever category they decide to classify themselves as, that can talk to them in a very highly intelligent way on their level about all kind of stuff, because he's into, growing food, sovereign rights, self-governance, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's
beautiful.
Yeah. I cannot say enough about that kid. He's going to be a mover or shaker.
All right. I look forward to it.
Yeah. You should go check his stuff out. It's Corey, Nature is the Answer on YouTube. I've had him on my show.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had him on my show a couple times. I'll definitely have him back on.
Nice.
I want to dive into his books, go over each one.
Got it.
As a show. Yeah, he's a really talented kid.
Nice.
I look forward to working with him and introducing him to more and more people in this movement. Hopefully he can be recognized, because he'd love to do a tour of the college campuses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd
so
be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think he's one of those kids that can do it, who can break through. He's got enough connections. So yeah, him, and a host of other people that are in this community that I trust and, have good faith and honor. Just want the best for people and aren't out, trying to become multimillionaires off the backs of people in this community, most of which are, and I hate to say this, are in desperation mode.
I get it. I completely get it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, if I may, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
People have asked, because I'm also on Sovereign Filing Solutions website, with the same offer, and they ask the question, why do you charge for this? My answer is, if I didn't charge, you wouldn't respect what I'm sharing with you.
Absolutely.
You would toss it in the trash, because it's so painstakingly simple. You wouldn't give it the respect that it deserves. But if you've invested into it, you're looking for a payout. You're looking for results. And that's where I need you to be. So the amount that's being charged, and I make it make sense, because like I mentioned earlier, to file the mark means nothing. It's not something that I need to put a value to. But defending the mark, that's what you're paying for. And if you're focused on defending the mark for any reason, you're going to see a value in what I'm presenting and the strategy that I offer.
And this is the big part about a lot of this, because when you do get stuck and you're in a rock and a hard place, you want to be able to reach out to somebody like Wesley Keith Mullings, who has experience, who has dealt with a lot of people who've had a lot of different experiences utilizing this methodology to get some type of result. So these are the people that you want to be able to, pick up a phone, talk to, email, text, whatever, if you don't know what you're doing. But the whole premise behind all this is to get you up to speed to where you know what you're doing. This is not that difficult. And I've told everybody time and time again, how did this get so difficult? Why is all there this different paperwork? Get a file here, file there, get this, it's just ridiculous. The insanity of it. And
I got an answer for that.
um,
I got an answer.
Let's hear it.
What it is, and I've witnessed this happen in quite a few different calls. What it is that when people get an idea of that they think they know why something works, they will add something that they figured out into the whole formula. But the problem with that is most of the people that do this, they only go off of their anecdotal experience. So they don't know all the jurisdictions, and they don't know what the jurisdictions are going to respond with. So for them to say, oh, well, yeah, if you do this one thing, then you could just go straight in and you can do what I did. Yeah, but I'm not in the same jurisdiction as you. And in my jurisdiction, I already tried that 3 times and I got shut down, or I got imprisoned, or I got threatened, or I got run out of the place. So what are you going to say to that? You can't say, well, you did it wrong. No, I'm not in your jurisdiction. So because people don't want to acknowledge or accept that, oh, well, I could be wrong in any given instance, then they don't back down when it comes to that kind of challenge. And when they don't back down, it just makes things a mess, because folks will give credence to the person speaking rather than the fact that they're bringing forward. They don't vet things to see if this is true. One of the things, and whenever I'm on calls, just as a participant, not as a speaker, I'll hear things that people say, and I'll ask questions. Where'd you get that from? Who told you that? How do you know that works? And the people that are in that mode, they'll get defensive. No, because I heard it from the person who I heard it from, and they heard it from who they heard it from. So who's that person? How do you know they're telling the truth? And they're thinking I'm trying to be mean, but my questions are purposeful. You have to vet this for yourself, because if you don't know where this comes from, how are you going to defend it? We got to be able to defend what we're doing. That's one of the basics of being an adult, right? So we can't afford to just go off of a friend who told us something. We have to test this. We have to see if it works. Yeah, it worked for him, but does it work over here for me? Can I depend on this for my situation? Can I depend on this to tell somebody else about their situation, even though I don't know their situation? We got to be careful of things. And a lot of folks are just not careful.
Yeah, that's the problem. Slipping, half-stepping, not following through.
Right.
That I'll tell you what, that'll get your leg blown off.
Completely. Oh, man. Woo!
Yep.
Oh,
There, listen, folks, okay? There are no shortcuts.
None. Listen, all right. In the drill field, when I was a drill sergeant, I used to run the rifle range and the grenade range. There are so many times that you tell the private, or you tell the recruit, this is what you do. Pay attention to what I'm saying. These are your instructions. Make sure you do these things. So many times that some wild Yahoo messes it up, drops a grenade right in front of you. And you have to get yourself and them out of the blast range, because I'm not picking it up to toss it and then I come back with a nub. Oh, man.
All right. Let's look at this from a little different angle. You haven't mentioned this.
Go ahead.
Changing your name through the courts, what that looks like, and all these different aliases that you've acquiesced to over time inadvertently because you didn't know this knowledge when you do it, and you gotta, your full name's Floyd Pleasant Tarvin the fourth. I ordered a MasterCard, I got it back, and it said Floyd P. Tarvin. So I've acquiesced to that. Now I'm on the record, Floyd P. Tarvin. So I have a shit ton of bastardizations of my name. So my present parole is under Floyd P. Tarvin, not Floyd Pleasant Tarvin IV. However, I have gone through the state district courts here, had my name legally changed from the all caps to Floyd Pleasant Tarvin IV in proper grammar. Got it arranged correctly on the status of standing. Last comma, first, middle, but I don't have a middle name. Got rid of that. All in the decree. Got an exemplified copy of the decree. Then got it double authenticated on the state and federal level.
Got it.
So on that aspect of it, having your name changed, and then you have these other pending cases with the different bastardizations of what your name really truly is. How is do you have to trademark every single name, or can you just use
I
one
got
name
your answer.
and then put all that underneath there? If that's the case, that's a winner there.
I got your answer right here. Let's share. Let's see. Let's display the screen that I just shared. It's right there in the law. 17 USC 106, exclusive rights and copyrighted works. I know there are going to be some that are going to say, we're talking trademark, not copyright. But the laws apply unilaterally. This is 17 USC, trademark deals with 15 USC. It still works. Let's read it. Subject to sections 107 through 122, the owner of copyright under this title has the exclusive rights to do and to authorize any of the following. And let's look righty here. To prepare derivative works based on the copyrighted work. So, derivatives. All right, I'm going to stop screen. Derivatives. What's the derivative of a name? What could be a derivative of a name? Let's say they add extra letters. Let's say they use abbreviations. Let's say they put the names in a different order. It doesn't matter. As long as they're pointing to you when they say it, that's a derivative. And you have exclusive rights over derivatives. So you do not have to put a trademark in on every type of derivative that may exist. All you need to put the trademark on is what the actual name is. Everything else is covered by law. And both attorneys, attorneys and judges know this. So you are well covered.
All right. That is exactly why there's a class, because you're going to come up with these same questions. You're going to get in the same positions, and then you're going to have to find the answer. Either go research it yourself or be able to talk to myself or somebody like Wesley Keith Mullings. So that's what this is all about, to educate you as much as possible. And I could sit here and, we could hit question after question after question after question. But do y'all have anything over here in the on your viewers? Do y'all have any questions that y'all have for Wesley concerning this, the classes, anything like that? And Michelle says that the name decree must be filed in probate to have standing.
Yes, for the name decree, yes.
Right.
That's where that happens. But, that brings up something. When you go through a name change, I know some people would ask the question, do you need to trademark that name as well? Only if you are moving in commerce in any way. So if you are getting a new driver's license based on that name, if you are applying for a new social security number based on that name, getting into a car loan, a mortgage, if you're using the name in commerce, yes, you do need to trademark that. Now, if the name that you are doing the name change for is essentially or in a core matter the same as the original name that you had or you're trademarked with. So, like for example, my name change was Wesley Keith Mullings, where Wesley and Keith are separated by a hyphen. They're a part of the first name. There is no middle name, not anymore. But originally, Wesley was the first, Keith was the middle. So the trademark of Wesley Keith Mullings still applies to the appellation. I don't need to file another trademark for that. But if you take on a completely different name, and I know this will definitely apply to those who are following the Moorish path, that they take on a whole different tribal name or something to that effect. This works for them. That you would trademark both.
Okay. What classification do you trademark your name in?
Somebody's thinking. So we're going back to the principle that it's not about what I think of myself. It's about what the system sees about me. So what classification would exist that the system sees you as? Any ideas?
A dead person.
So what classification fits debt?
Deceased.
No. Debt. DEBT. Debt.
Oh, debt. Okay.
Yes.
You trademark as a debtor?
No, not as a debtor.
Okay.
Right? We're dealing with their classifications now. So we got to match the classification to something that discusses debt.
I'm lost. You lost me.
It's not difficult. It's not difficult.
I'm not saying it is, but you lost me.
So
I'm probably overthinking it.
Most people do, and it's okay. It's all right. Debt is a function of
Commerce.
Commerce.
Okay.
And what makes the commerce? What are you exchanging?
Money? Currency?
Money. So if you're debt, or if your avatar is debt, what does the system see you as?
Money.
Money. So which classification matches money?
Which classification of trademarks?
Yes. That's your answer.
Okay. I still don't know the answer, but I would say commerce. Back to commerce again.
Don't worry. When we get the
that's what class is for.
That's what we're going to cover.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad we went around circles there.
but you can see how quick we're able to get to how this works. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It kind of requires that you let go of some of the things that we've been studying and working on in order to get to the answer, because it's a natural answer.
And I'm guilty of that, because the problem when I was in prison is the material that I had could have been taken away from me at any moment. So I had to memorize as much of this stuff. It's like, I'm every day it was, a new letter, document, pamphlet, something. When I got out in 2016, of course I found Sovereign Filing Solutions, and who's the other chick? Can't remember her name. She went and bought a Tesla, allegedly.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about.
let's see. There's a couple
She used to do the whiteboard presentations.
yes.
On videos. It's got a weird name.
Princess Jadeite, I believe.
No, that wasn't her name that she used.
Huh.
I'll think of it in a minute.
Okay.
Anyway, so as I was, trying to find, I hadn't been on the internet in 14 years, so it was all a whole new adventure, Wild West for me.
Sure.
And of course, everybody wants hundreds or thousands of dollars to do their process or get their paperwork, whatever. So I was just winging it from the Sovereign redemption manual, actually. And of course, then I got a knock on my trailer door from the FBI and Brazoria County Sheriff's Department Joint Task Force, asking me about two guys I was locked up with who were out, buying houses and cars with treasury drafts. Yeah, and it was real strange how, the last unit, well, not the last unit, but the last assigned unit I was on, the Ellis unit, I was with these two guys. One was a Moor, the other was melanated. So you know how the Moors are; they don't share their information, especially the white folks.
Yeah.
But I was in with those guys because of my knowledge. They knew I knew, so
right.
We had a relationship.
Right.
And they were talking about doing that, and that's when the Treasury routing number was going out, where it was like 60073 or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, they came knocked on my door and asked me, hey, these guys? I'm like, and one was Robert Smith, and I'm thinking, Robert Smith, sheesh, that's a common name.
Really?
Yeah. Then I asked, what are the hood names or street names? And they told me, like, oh yeah, I know those guys. So yeah, they're like, you're not out doing what they're doing, are you? And I like look at these guys in bewilderment because I walked out of a bullshit ass construction trailer.
Yeah.
It's like $300 a month, and I'm driving a 20-year-old Jeep Cherokee. Yeah, I was insane. So I stopped everything, and then I was working as a stagehand, and we were milling around before the gig started, and I heard somebody say, "Straw man, birth certificate bond." I went,
yeah.
I'm looking around me like, what the hell? I walk over to him like, hey man, what do you know about that? UCC. He goes, you know a little something about that? I'm like, yeah, I know a lot about that. He goes, oh well, come on, let's go have a conversation.
Oh yeah.
He pulled me up back into this. So I'm getting introduced to, James C. Lovett, Eon, Derek Gonzalez, all these people that he's turning me on to, and all these other processes, Rourke, everybody. So I'm thinking, God, I got all this knowledge in my head, but I don't know if it's good knowledge, bad knowledge, useful.
Right.
I kind of had to forget everything that I utilized. And then as we were doing these processes, I stumbled back. I go, oh yeah, I know all this stuff. I did all this stuff already. I wrote this document 6 times trying to make it better in prison because I had all this time to do that.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, because this is my own philosophy about these different processes, because as I said at the beginning of the video, nothing's new under the sun. These processes have been out there forever, decades. Some of them going on 40 years, in fact. That over time, that when they first evolved, that the people were utilizing them, they were working, they were functional. They weren't being abused. People weren't being greedy. They were just trying to, make things happen for themselves. And when they did, the greed came in, and then it went all over the place. So these processes, in my opinion, once maybe worked for a while, but over time have been bastardized or stolen from people, lit up, people, amending it, making it to where it doesn't function,
Right.
overloading a specific process entity. Let's just say you're trying to discharge your coupons, vouchers, and remittances on your bills. So,
Gotcha.
Once Visa and MasterCard got to that, but
Yeah.
yeah, we need your money. So over time, these things have just failed, and people have tried to monetize them into classes, groups, processes, paperworks, all these different things. So that's how I look at it. Is it's
Sure.
most of them don't even work anymore. It's very
Right.
difficult. I think it's a waste of time. Well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Can I say this? Obviously you haven't hit the pump pump jackpot Willy Wonka ticket and access you trust, or got the white card, black card, where you have unlimited wealth. However, you've done everything else to basically take yourself out of the system and protect yourself from the system,
Go ahead.
right?
Go ahead.
So, it's my opinion that people who have not actually got the unlimited wealth, whatever that looks like, access to your trust, you redeemed a birth certificate bond, or you securitize, whatever. I don't care what that looks like.
Sure.
That once you get there, that you're not going to be on social media, you're not going to be doing classes, you're not going to be doing consultations, you're going to be talking to people. You're going to go enjoy the rest of your life, what life you have.
Not me.
Not you.
I'm going to be doing this. This is my purpose.
This is your purpose.
And let me share with Trademark. There are 4 remedies that you're able to enjoy: injunction, seizure of infringing articles, destruction of any remaining infringing material, and damages. So even though, I know a lot of people are trying to get access to that account that, we're hearing about, it's a secret account and this, that, and the other. I don't need to do that, because if I caught you in an infringement, everything that you earned doing that belongs to me, and the law backs it up. And how bad the infringement would be, let's say I gave notice, you ignored the notice, you're still infringing. I have the eligibility by law to get back treble damages. So for every dollar you earn, you owe me 3. If you ended up earning $1 million, you owe me $3 million. I think that's a fair exchange. And when I get that money back, that's restitution. You're making me whole. And restitution cannot be taxed for any reason, because it's not an income. So, situation happens where, let's say, it's child support. Child support make money off of the case that's featuring my trademark. I know that child support has decided, it's going to lock this person away for this amount of time because they didn't pay for it. Oh, and you made money on that too? For every day that I was there, separating me from my children? Oh, yeah, you do. You owe me a lot in restitution, and 3 times as much as it would normally be, especially if I gave you notice and you ignored it. So it no longer bothers me about not having access to that account, because through the trademark, I get everything that y'all already paid out anyway. And I have the ability to hold your employer as the guarantor, because I know your employer, which is a state, actually has the funds.
The good old state.
Oh, yeah.
The good old state. So how many in the entire protective umbrella or enclosure that you've surrounded yourself in with doing these different processes, how many would one have to do to get insulated, such as yourself?
Like I said, secured party process, trademark. Now, you can start at the state level. State level trademarks will turn over faster. But a federal level trademark will take 14 to 16 months. So, as an effort to being able to get that protection, you can start off with a state level mark, be protected within that jurisdiction, and then grow that or file it even at the same time to get a federal mark. And in 12 to 14 months, you will be protected.
Okay, because we're going to do this, and we're going to, y'all are going to see firsthand experience, because I've thrown every freaking process out there at my court regarding my parole. Everything. Y'all go look on my record. It's all there, wide open in the public. They don't give a damn what's in the public. Trust me. I clearly should place their judiciary corps of the state of Texas are for-profit corporations. Dun and Bradstreet background business report. Absolutely. And they put it in the public record. They don't care.
Yeah.
So, I'm real anxious to do something that would be effective. My last resort, the only thing left for me to do is file another writ of habeas corpus on the state level.
You won't need to do any of that no more.
Yeah. Well,
matter of fact, hold on. I got this graphic that I made from a video that I created. This is fantastic. If you could share that with everybody, you're gonna love this. No more commercial liens, do not pass the bar, remonstrance, subrogation, enforcing treaties, dealing with oaths of office, no more conditional acceptance, no more I'm not the name, no more avoiding court, no more affidavits, no more challenging jurisdiction, no more 3949As, 211s, 13909, 14009s. You don't have to do any of these anymore in order to get your remedy. Trademark is public. So you're able to address them publicly. This is not a private remedy at all. This is all public. So they cannot ignore it. You are the licensor. You are the prosecutor. There's no more immunities that any of these agents can enjoy anymore. This is the way out, y'all. And I'm here to help you get out. All right?
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I'm ready to get started on that. I'm definitely going to have to do the state level first.
Mm-hmm.
Here by my hand, and I'm going to assume this is one of your folks.
That's true. Yeah. So a federal mark can be done quickly if you submit the specimen of classification during the application process. Now, I have some nice little tricks up my sleeve that have been proven a number of times. I don't get held up by anything when it comes to the review, the pre-publication review. So all of my applications go right on through with no issues.
What define quickly, because you just said, about a yearly process.
Mm-hmm.
What would be quickly if you submit the specimen? How
About
much is it?
About a year.
Shortens it a couple months.
Yeah, because it takes 8 months for them to even assign the attorney. That's something that's in their hands. We can't help that.
8 months.
Yeah, 8 months. It is. That's how it works. 8 months. It's that many applications. So they weed out all of the applications that don't qualify. And that's what makes all that time.
How many applications get submitted?
We're in the tens of thousands daily.
Daily?
Daily.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So 8 months is actually pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. It sounds like a long time.
The way that I do the mark, it is the fastest. I never have a problem with any reviewing attorney.
Okay.
Doesn't matter who it is. I don't care if they've been there for years or they just got there. They're able to get things done, lickety split.
Just like James with the passport process, no issues.
Yeah.
You just follow the template.
That's it.
Like cute.
And listen, I've had somebody. A short story. I had somebody who was, they started off and they started to follow the instructions, but they would change one little thing every single time. He got rejected 5 times, cussed me out 3 times over it. You told me this bullshit, this and that, and cussing me out. And I said, you didn't follow the instructions. Do what I said to do. So the 6th time, it went through in 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, I told you, follow the instructions.
When do you want to begin doing classes or have the first class?
When are we? Well, let's see. What, next week?
That's up to you. I'm open.
Yeah, Friday next week.
Friday next week. What time?
Same time. Noon.
Noon. Can't be at noon.
Okay.
I do my show at noon.
Let's see. What's a good time for you Friday?
Friday, anytime besides noon, and I try not to do 4 or 5 hour shows, but I just can't help myself. Friday's the 17th. It's a Friday. Probably Thursday would be better.
Thursday? All right, yeah. Let's do Thursday.
Yeah, hang on 1 second.
Yep. Not a problem. So yeah, everyone, this is the way. This is the way. This is because here's what I figured out. When it comes to why this works, the secured party process separates you from that straw man, but it abandons the straw man. It's a claim on the straw man, but it's abandoned. Whereas with the trademark, it's a contract between you and the jurisdiction that you have the exclusive rights over that straw man. So now the straw man is no longer abandoned. And if the straw man is no longer abandoned, you're able to step in as the holder in due course or the owner, whichever you decide to do. And you're able to account for and manage your property without any interruption from anyone. This is the way. And it works. It's been consistent.
And that's what we're looking for. That's what I tell you folks. Anytime somebody throws a process in your lap, proof of concept, proof of success, it has to work at least twice, preferably with 2 different things. Because if it works with 2 different things, it means it's probably effective and it's going to work repeatedly for whatever category it's in. And it's got to work like a debit card. As long as there's money in that account, point of sale system is fully operational, and there's no operator error. Yeah, it's going to work every time seamlessly. And that's what we're looking for. That's what I've been looking for. But it's not just a one thing that's going to solve all your problems. It's a combination of things that have to be done in a specific order, specific way. Wesley has done this. You haven't shown your website. Let me go over there and show everybody that.
Sure.
So they can took myself out of the game.
It's all good, bro.
All right, here's this website, and as you see, if you want to go check out some of these different links right here within his website.
Yep, that's everything.
And who's Emmanuel James Thorpe?
That is my youngest son, and his name is Trademark too.
Okay. And this is your license, driver's license?
Nope, that's the trademark.
Okay. Now, on your government issued instruments, are they do they have the trademark on them, the symbol?
Yes.
So you go back in and
those seals that you see, those are on all of my instruments.
these.
Yes. That
So
was
you
for
do
my
private
oldest
banking
son.
as well.
Right. That was for my younger son.
Okay. I don't even know how that works.
Oh yeah.
To do that. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh
You
yeah.
have all that. It hasn't changed that much since last time I was here.
Right. I think the last change that I did was I added the trademark information in for myself, and both of my sons. That was
Okay.
it.
Private banking. What's that look like?
Private banking. So, doing negotiable instruments, in particular bills of exchange. What I'm working on, and so far has been working out pretty good, is being able to offer self-insurance for your automobile. That way, you're able to show that you actually have a bond that's been special deposited with the state in order to account for any issues when you're on the road. And being that these are public servants and they are functioning in a fiduciary capacity according to their office, you're able to leverage that in order to have that office pay out based on the funds that you had special deposited to the state's treasury. That way, everybody gets paid instead of having to go through this circus that we know exists with the existing insurance providers. We don't have to worry about them anymore. Just give it to the state. The state's going to pay you out.
For sure, 100%. They're going to do what they're supposed to do.
They have no choice.
On that.
Because what will happen, remember, when we're dealing with securities, right?
Yeah.
Who can we report this to? We got FINRA. We got the SEC. Right? FINRA is an international agency.
Right.
And the SEC is a part of the financial crimes unit itself.
Yep.
So does the state really want that kind of problem by doing you wrong?
Oh boy. You want me to open up that tackle box? I got a bunch of lures in there.
But here's the good thing, and this is the offer to the state, right? Mm-hmm. The bonds that I issue are the federal limit, which is $5 million. That's more insurance than most people have on 10 cars.
Right.
On
their home. Yeah.
Right.
Which is their largest asset.
To offer that to the Treasury and they not take it, and then after 10 years, if it hasn't been paid out, you can absorb this into your funds. You think they won't go for that? It's almost free money.
It is free money.
So everybody wins. This is a win-win-win-win-win.
Okay. Let's see. Gigi wants your web address, and I'll put it over here in the chat for you.
For those who want to begin today, there are several classes that I do offer. It's the link at the bottom that shows the classroom. It says classes and remedies on the bottom of that page. But what I will do, and matter of fact, I got to do this on the site today, Floyd. I have to put you in as one of the referrals so that I can track and we can, what we have set up on the back end I'll be able to catch it here too. So don't worry. I'm going to make sure that you're in there so that we're able to maintain that and nothing gets lost. All right. But anyone who needs to start today, the website and all the remedies that are available there, you need to let it be known that you got this from Floyd. Do not fail to put that down when you submit your order. Okay. And as anyone would be able to see when they look at any of the pricing on this, I am not trying to break anybody's bank at all. Matter of fact, even with the trademark offer, those are crackhead prices for what you're going to get. Those are crackhead prices. This is going to be the one thing that, and I know some people, particularly those who are melanated, would have this concern that, driving while black, walking while black, eating while black, that this is the one remedy that kills all of that. Flat. And whenever, let's say, for example, I interact with law enforcement, municipal, and it might be Joey Wildass who decides, I'm just going to put my chest out there and put my balls on the table. Okay. Maybe you don't realize I got this big cleaver called a trademark. And there's no union. There's no precinct. There's no attorney. There's no judge that's going to save your ass. If you decide to climb up this tree, expect the fall.
Yeah, if you're going to open Pandora's box, you're going to get hit with a bunch of pestilence.
There it is.
Yep, absolutely.
What we used to say in the neighborhood, open up a straight up can of whoop ass.
Right. You don't go fuck with him.
For real.
Yeah. That's not the one you want to fuck with. Not him.
At all. Don't be looking to your friend either.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just let him ride on by.
You don't want this.
I said, don't say nothing to him.
I used to joke around when I first figured this out. I used to joke around and say, "Oh yeah, it's called the fuck around and find out rule."
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, you know all the movers and shakers in this movement. I've mentioned a handful of them.
Oh yeah.
And this is nothing new. Again, under the sun. I hate to keep rehashing that phrase, but it is what it is, and it's a simple process. It's just doing it correctly,
exactly,
and following the same exact footprints of the person that succeeded in front of you and can show you success.
Right.
That's that's the big thing. Most of these people out here, they teach all this stuff. Some of them even have, $1,200, $1,500 per seat seminars, live seminars.
Right.
And still can't give you all the answers to the pieces of the puzzle. But I'm hoping that everybody's got this puzzle that y'all been trying to put together, just like myself, for months, a year, if not years, some of you over a decade, like myself, that you can take out some of these pieces that you think fit in the puzzle that actually don't, but they look like they do. Yep. Get rid of that trash and start rebuilding your puzzle correctly. So it's been my goal to bring in the right people to do the right things. And you're interested, the whole right to travel. That's, right in with what James Lovett is, turning his channel towards. He's getting away from the being the passport issues is his main driver for his channel,
right?
His website. So yeah, we have to diversify. We can't keep, especially me. I got to the point where, okay, I'm running out of processes to go do videos about to show you that, hey, that didn't work.
Right. It's the
So,
truth. It's
yeah,
the truth.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, we are going to get something scheduled hard for you. Are you going to post any of this on your website, or you just want them directly towards me? 'Cause I'm going to do all the
Yeah,
marketing.
it'll come directly to you.
Okay.
You'll capture everything, and then you'll let me know.
I'll post everything once this is concluded. I got a couple phone calls to make, and then I will get the advertising and marketing available. I'll send you copies and Telegram for your dispersal. It'll be on Facebook, YouTube, all the other social media platforms set up. We'll work out. Do you have exactly how you want to do the curriculum yet?
Yes,
What that looks like?
we're ready. We're ready.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. You will be able to find it on my website, fearlessfloydshow.com. Let me pull that up for you guys just so you can see what's what. This is the homepage. All right. You see, I still have Dr. Group up here for his nomination.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But I'm going to put it right up here, front and center.
Beautiful.
Right under Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. So you won't be able to miss it. There will be a link like this one where you just click on it. It'll automatically take you to the store site, which is right here. I also have a new gallery section. So if y'all want to come see a whole bunch of pictures of me and the crazy shit that I do and have done, there you go. So here's the website, or actually the store where you can go purchase things. It will be available in here. And I do accept all major credit cards through Square. I have alternative methods that you can pay if you are not a fan of PayPal. Just go to the donations and payment page. It'll take you down here. Here's the QR code for Square, or here's a link to Square, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. Money orders, cashier's checks. I even had somebody say, send me your EIN so I can do a 1099 to pick up some stuff. And I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll do that. Here it is. Just to see if they have the fulfillment process to make it work.
Right.
Yeah, all right. You think you can pull it off? I'll be right in late.
That's how we got to do it.
If you don't try and fail, then you're never going to succeed.
And you'll never learn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some people don't learn from their mistakes. They just keep
That's the point. Yeah, you gotta learn until you succeed.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me see if we have any further questions before we roll out of here. I want to wrap this up. I don't want to keep it too long. We're already at 2 hours. All right. Sugar G-Man, thank you, Fearless. You have seriously helped change the direction of my life. I wasn't on the right road. Grateful beyond words, helping so many people. Listen, I'm grateful that I'm in this position to do this, and I'm not here for viewers, likes, subscribers, any of that crap. Otherwise, Jeff Rom would be on this show every freaking day, and then I would do a big battle royale, and I'd have Elizabeth and Jeff on the same show, and that would probably draw 50,000 views. So, yeah. And I remember when I had 8 viewers, bro, 8 subscribers on YouTube, and I was just stunned that I had 8 people that were what I had to say. And here I am. I'm able to do this full time. So I'm very proud of it. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I know. I left the G off in your title. It is fixed.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I already fixed it here.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, I did that. As soon as I saw Mullings, I was like, "Oh, I missed the G everywhere,"
Yeah.
Which is typical. I don't even think I've ever met a Mullings.
Yeah. That's actually the prevailing name. Everything else is a derivative that came from it. And that's historically. When you look at my seal, you're able to see that in the shield is 3 crescent moons. So that is evidence that I am a Moor by blood.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah. So I don't need to go through any of their trials or any tests. No, I'm a Moor by blood.
Have you done any ancestry, like 23andMe, Ancestry.com?
Not that, no. I hadn't done that. Actually, I was looking at an alternative that deals with people who have indigenous background, or they're seeking to see if they have those indigenous connections.
Right.
So other than that, I hadn't done it yet, but I'm looking forward to doing it.
There's a process you can utilize. I have to dig it out. It's somewhere in all my files, where you capture your DNA before you send it in there.
Okay.
And of course, it's your property, ordered to destroy, not to distribute, the whole 9 yards.
Got it.
So when I did mine, it was part of this big, expansive trust that I did. As part of that process. So I'm writing a book right now, Ann and I, on additional trust. That's part of that process.
Okay.
I'll be digging it out in the next 2 weeks. When I do, of course, I'll share it with you.
I'll tell you something funny.
Yeah.
When I first got into to being a secured party, that's when I met Ann.
Oh, okay.
So we were supposed to have been doing something together, and we tried, but I don't know, something kind of fell through the cracks along the way. But
right.
I whenever I see that she's doing something, I cheer her on quietly.
Yeah, she's on a whole new kick right now. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm just letting her roll. I haven't talked to her in it's probably been a month.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk to her. All right. Anything else you want to close with before we go?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
That's about it. Look, I'm looking forward to Thursday, so that we can start, because the way that I do classes, I incorporate everybody else's feedback, their input, whatever it is that they want to present, questions that they might have. I like having an interactive class. I'm very engaging, and I like when people engage with me back. So that's what I'm looking forward to. All right. So everyone, I really appreciate your graciousness and me allowing me, I should say, in giving you or offering what it is that I'm working with, and helping you get to your remedies, whatever they happen to be. And even going further than where I am, there's plenty of room for everyone. And I want to make sure that if I have anything to contribute, if I could be that stepping stone that gets somebody to the stratosphere, then I'm grateful and I'm satisfied in that.
Absolutely. That's my goal, to, have just one person send me a thank you. And that way I know I did my job yesterday.
Exactly.
Just to help one person, because we can't save the world. It's just
That's right.
impossible.
That's right.
So if we can reach out and get just a one-on-one, it's been a very successable day.
And I'll tell you, I got some good surprises for these people that are going to be in this class. Woo! Oh, man. Yep. Everybody's going to be amazed. I promise you that.
Well, good enough. I look forward to having it. We'll set everything up. Let me get everything done. Are you available this evening?
Yes.
To talk? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Just reach out. You already got everything. Reach out, and we'll be able to get the details. Okay?
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you very much for being here. Wesley Keith Mullings, everybody.
Thank you, Floyd. Thank you, everyone out in the audience. I appreciate you all.
All right. We'll see you next week. There you have it. Wesley Keith Mullings with the trademark class coming up next week. We'll get it established for you. If you want to know where it's going to be, go to the fearlessfloydshow.com website. It'll be right there, front and center, top. Won't be able to miss it. A link taking directly to the store so you can process it and we can get it all set up for you. Look for that to be established either tonight on the website or first thing tomorrow. So I'm not done, folks. I'm not done at all. Okay. I don't know what has happened. I know what did happen, especially last night or yesterday, actually, while I was doing the live. A couple things happened. Exactly what I was talking about. And let me get this. All right. There you go. These numbers. All right. The little buttons move. There we go. Jesus. That was nuts. Come on. Yesterday, I covered Venezuela and Bolivar. What's going on in Venezuela? So while I was actually doing my show, this happened.
Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado was briefly detained, then released after she came out of hiding for the first time in months. That's according to her Vente Venezuela movement on social media. It said she was arrested amid gunshots and that she was forced to film several videos. It happened on Thursday after Machado attended an anti-government rally in Caracas.
I tell you and be clear about this. Here, and here. Venezuela has already decided. Venezuela is free. The regime is over.
Reuters video shows Machado walking among protesters in a black-jacketed helmet, escorted by a security guard. It also shows Machado on a motorcycle leaving the demonstration amid a chaotic scene on the street. Machado is being investigated in at least 2 cases, but no warrant for her has been made public. The country's interior minister earlier said her arrest was, quote, an invention, a lie. The opposition are protesting around the country in an 11th hour effort to put pressure on President Nicolas Maduro ahead of his 3rd inauguration on Friday. Both the opposition and the ruling party claim to have won last year's presidential election. Venezuela's electoral authority and top courts say Maduro won, though they have never published detailed tallies. The ruling party held rival demonstrations nationwide. Machado's ally, former presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez, has repeatedly promised to return to Venezuela ahead of Maduro's inauguration on Friday. The government has accused the opposition of fomenting fascist plots against it and has said it will arrest Gonzalez should he return.
That literally happened yesterday while I was doing my live. And let me get over here and play this one for you.
And tonight at 10, Venezuelans in South Florida coming together in prayer, hoping for better days in their home country. It's on the eve of Nicolas Maduro being sworn in tomorrow for a 3rd term as president. Earlier in downtown Doral, the Venezuelan community showed up to protest Maduro and show support for opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez, whom they say actually won the election. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward is live at a church tonight in Coconut Grove. And Larry, people there are saying that they're praying for change.
Jim, those here tonight, they're praying for a transition of power in Venezuela, and a peaceful one at that. If that does not happen, some want the U.S. government to step in like never before. Inside Our Lady of Charity's 50-year-old shrine, Thursday's weekly silent prayer for justice in Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Focused on those waving yellow, blue, and red flags with 8 stars earlier in the day. A group worried about their homeland, its leadership, and the conflict keeping everyone in those photos as political prisoners, while in South Florida, loved ones hold on to hope of a reunion.
I expect with the new government that I could at least come back to Venezuela and visit them.
President Nicolas Maduro's regime controls Venezuela. Opponents say he lost the last election to Edmundo Gonzalez, but Maduro still plans to be sworn in for another 6-year term Friday. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado joined this protest rally in Caracas. Later, her team says someone kidnapped Machado, forced her to record a message before letting her go. Hours later, on his Truth Social platform, President-elect Donald Trump warned Maduro about his treatment of Machado and Gonzalez, saying these freedom fighters should not be harmed and must stay safe and alive. Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez then revealed that he and other lawmakers met with Gonzalez at the U.S. Capitol Monday and Tuesday.
He has our full, complete, 100% support, just like President Trump just tweeted that he has his support. Maria Corina also has our support. And the message to the Maduro regime is you just go ahead and abide by the election results.
What should happen if the Maduro regime does not protect them?
Honestly, that's a question that belongs to the American government.
Do you think military intervention would be too far?
At this point, many Venezuelans believe that military intervention is the only option that we need.
But those here are praying peace reigns.
We hope that tomorrow will be a peaceful transition, both things. A transition that the Venezuelan people voted for, and that it will be peaceful.
In a statement earlier this evening, Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava released a statement saying her team stands in solidarity with the Venezuelan people and demands an end to the Maduro regime, Jim. Live in Coconut Grove, Larry Seward, CBS News, Miami.
Larry.
There you go. That's going on in Venezuela. Y'all want to go see what's going on right this minute? Because this is, see if they have anything new. Doesn't look like they have anything new regarding Venezuela. Oh, here we go. This is going to be interesting.
Sworn in as the Venezuelan president this morning for the 3rd time in what will be another 6-year term. Maduro was part of a contentious election in which results published by the opposition party showed leader Edmundo Gonzalez Urita, who won by a large margin. Urita is currently in Spain after a Venezuelan federal judge issued an arrest warrant. Protests erupted in Venezuela and across the world yesterday in response to Maduro's impending 3rd term. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado says she was briefly arrested during an anti-Maduro protest in Caracas yesterday. Troops allegedly shot at motorcycles that were transporting Machado. So there's a lot to unpack in this story. So I want to bring in Manuela Guerrera Fletcher. She's a correspondent for Caracol Television and joins me now from Bogota. Thanks so much for being with us. So walk us through this controversy and the dispute in the results and what some are suggesting is Maduro's power grab.
Yes, good morning, Vladimir. Well, we have to start with the campaign, which was marked by a lot of accusations of repression against the opposition. There was the invitation of several international observers that was revoked, including the European Union. Over 130 members of the campaign, the opposition campaign, were detained. So just to name a few things, this is the context in which we arrived at this election. And then election day went on normally, but when polls closed, the website with official results crashed. The access of opposition poll watchers to different polling stations was blocked. And there was basically radio silence until after midnight, when the Maduro government gave the only result that we've heard from them so far, which is 51% of the votes for Maduro, 44% for Edmundo Gonzalez, without a specific breakdown of these numbers, no breakdown by polling stations, by states, whereas the opposition, as you mentioned, was able to get a copy of the actas, which are basically the receipt that the voting machines print, and they were able to get 80% of them, over 80% of them. And as you say, they suggest that Edmundo González Urrutia won this election by a landslide.
Fletcher, thank you for that breakdown for us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Order to shut down the border till Monday morning has come directly from the president himself. Now, ahead of Maduro's swearing-in ceremony, the opposition coalition leader, Maria Corina Machado, made her first public appearance in many months. However, it quickly spiraled into a very chaotic situation after Machado's team said that she'd been freed after a brief detention. Now, previously, she was detained amidst gunshots while leaving a protest in eastern Caracas. The Machado's Vente Venezuela movement has said that the motorcycle caravan in which she was riding was actually shot at. The Machado had urged the protesters to peacefully flood the streets and had repeatedly asked the members of the police and the military who had guarded the polling stations during the elections to back Gonzalez's victory. Now, the Venezuelan opposition is protesting around the country in an 11th hour effort to put some pressure on Nicolas Maduro, as both the opposition and also the ruling party claim to have won last year's presidential election. Now, shortly after Machado's detention, various Latin American governments and also U.S. President-elect Donald Trump lambasted the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, saying in a post on Truth Social that the freedom fighters should not be harmed. However, Venezuela's interior minister has dismissed the opposition's claims that leader Maria Corina Machado was detained in Caracas and described it to be a complete lie.
Did y'all see that? I'm going to back that up a little bit.
Leader Maria Corina Machado was detained in Caracas and described it to be a complete lie. Now, Venezuelans living outside the country also rallied against Nicolas Maduro, who takes oath as Venezuela's president for a third straight term. The opposition, for its part, still maintains its electoral victory claim as support for it swells in other South American nations. Take a look.
It's a fact that they are really out of place. These are facts that go against human rights. Venezuela needs a change. The president who won must take office and Venezuela must finally be free.
Like all the Venezuelans who are here, we are searching for a new horizon. I don't know, a new life, better quality of life, because truth be told, in Venezuela, it is not possible.
All right, so that is the kind of support which the opposition seems to be enjoying in different parts of South America. Now, remember, Nicolas Maduro has said that the statements that have been given by the American leaders stating that the election was possibly won by the opposition is essentially election interference into the Venezuelan political system. And now remains to be seen as to how things proceed from here. Nicolas Maduro, who claims that he's won this election fair and square, is going to be sworn in as the president of Venezuela for the third term in a row. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what is happening at this moment in Venezuela, we're joined by Mr. Diego Sequeira, who's a journalist and also a columnist, and he's joining us live from Caracas in Venezuela. Mr. Sequeira, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Beyond. Let me start off by asking you this. You know, there's been a huge amount of interest across the world about the elections that have happened. Nicolas Maduro is going to be sworn in as the president for the third straight term. But a lot of people within Venezuela and indeed within Latin America and also the United States of America say that his electoral victory is not what it appears to be, and it is the opposition that's actually won this election fair and square. As someone who's sitting in Caracas, tell us, how do the people within Venezuela view this?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Well, by the way, the office precisely on its way right now. This is the usual. This is not the first time we are into this kind of narrative, battle of narratives, according to which side is telling the truth. It's just the usual. If we see it from the hindsight, even 20 years on, this is not a different thing. Perhaps the difference this time it could be the resources they're trying to use in order to make their own narrative coherent. Of course, they have the vantage point of having the best, usually most of the Western global system regarding media and politics. So in that sense, it's that kind of struggle, but it's not the same view if you take it from Venezuela, actually.
Right. Now, this could be an issue of narratives, as you put it, but, you know, on the ground, Venezuela at this moment is on the edge. You know, one of the states bordering Bolivia has, in fact, shut off its borders, and it has amped up its security, where the leader there has said that there is a possibility that external forces could try and foment trouble and disrupt the peace in Venezuela when Nicolas Maduro is sworn in again. How realistic is the possibility that this swearing-in ceremony will pass off peacefully without violence?
Well, first of all, throughout the day, it's already beyond 10:30 here in Caracas. There's no major event going on. Usually, it has been the case that there's been conflict, not conflict, but people trying to get into the country from the Colombian border, which there are many power structures there, criminal networks, and also several kind of activists that would be interested in trying to use it. So it's a preventive measure more than something that's going to happen. I don't think there's not going to be any significant event in that sense today. So that's part of the elements you have to take into account. This has happened before. Think about February the 23rd with Guaidó in 2019. They tried to ramp up the border. So it's a preventive measure more above anything else.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sequeira, for joining us all the way from Caracas and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you very much.
Very nice. Wherever that is. I'm trying to. Sorry about that. The tab was hiding. All right. So I want to give you all a little bit update on what's going on in Venezuela. So that is something to keep your eyeballs on. Today is the 10th. 0110. The 10th. And it was today's an anniversary for me today. I just snapped when I looked at the date. One of my stupid misadventures I suffered the consequences for, but is what it is. All right. Go to the website, fearlessfloydshow.com. Look for Wesley Keith Mullings trademark class. That's coming up. I'll get all that established for you. I'll try to get it on there tonight. If not, definitely be on there tomorrow. So go look for that there. I'm going to have fun doing that. Next Tuesday, it is scheduled, but it could change. We'll be talking about drones, robots, and autonomous vehicles, the latest and greatest cutting edge technology from China, Russia, Japan, all these other countries that are utilizing AI and cutting edge electronics, drones and robots, military equipment. So I want to show you exactly what's out there, what's available, the highest, the fastest, the quickest. So all these drones, orbs that we're seeing in the air, they don't belong to anything that came from a human being unless it is a extremely super black project. That's it. Now, are some of these triangles that we're seeing up there? Of course, we know what those are. Those are ours. We've had those. That's the old fleet. That's like flying an F-4 Phantom. If you don't know what that is, that was a Vietnam era aircraft. Yeah, that's kind of what the triangles, TRB-3s are. All right, I think I covered everything. If you did not watch the show with Carolyn Collins on the stem cell product, stem cell activator, stem cell active, everything's been in the banner below. You can go to the website and get you some of this. I'm utilizing this product. Actually, I have some more that'll be, I think, today. This is the gel that I consumed the first day when Troy took me to dinner. And I consumed this during the show. And this is the antioxidant gel. And I have the nitric oxide, the prime. This is like a pixie stick, if you remember those as a kid. And then, of course, the collagen. It's called Amaze. This is called Prime. The antioxidant is AO12. The gel for the stem cell activator is called Stem Active. Both. This is a gel in the capsules. They also have a product for pets, the stem cell activator. So I'm looking forward to getting some of that as well. It's all available if you want to go check it out. Mushroom therapy. These are two products that you can use in combination to protect yourself. And, they don't heal anything. They don't cure anything. To make sure that you know that they don't cure anything. They don't heal anything. They don't work. They're an ineffective product for your ailments. There. Got right around that whole the WHO, World Health Organization guidelines that Google and YouTube adhere to and follow, and will get you kicked off and get you a strike if you just claim that some product will do that. So I just tell you that they don't work. They're ineffective and they don't cure anything, and they don't heal anything. They don't remediate anything. Nah. You might as well just go, eat a spoonful of sand. Probably have the same effect. Just so you know. Noel finally reached back out. He's been going through some VA issues. Let me look in my. He's going to Reno, and he will be back home tomorrow or Sunday if all goes well. This is why I'm trying to document as much of his life as quickly as I can because of these issues. You could go to Reno one day for medical and never come back. I may never hear from him again. So, as quickly as I can, probably tomorrow, we will be back at it, hammering out more videos that will be presented to you in January and February. I spoke to Jeff Rahm right before the show. Rumors that, I'm quoting myself, rumors that the estate is releasing funds. True? Dun, 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 dun. And you see what time I texted it for Friday, January 10th at 11:33 a.m. And of course, I go on the air at noon, 27 minutes later. And when I sat down and get ready to do the show, I still hadn't heard from him. I called him at 11:56. According to him, no. There are no funds moving within, internally or externally within the Rodriguez estate. Okay. Now, let me differentiate because clearly between Jeff and Elizabeth, there's two different things, because Elizabeth says there's no such thing as the Rodriguez estate. She's never heard of it, doesn't know about it. But Jeff says it's an estate, not a trust. So I don't know if there's two different things in the same place that are similarly named that could be some type related. You would think they would be, coincidence. But it is what it is. And so no Rodriguez funds. I don't know of anything jumping other than, what you've already heard everywhere else. No new news on the RV front, as far as I know. I do have a, CMKX connection. Haven't heard anything on that. Prosperity packages, same thing. Haven't heard anything on that. It's just been very, very, very quiet across all fronts. But apparently people are having some movement. And if you watched yesterday, I talked about the redemption centers, what that looks like. And I want you to just put this in your mind as a visual. Okay. Wherever you go, and this is all hypothetical, folks. Okay. Let's just say they're going to do 100 appointments. All right. So we have 100 over here. Let me get a scrap piece of paper. 100. And everybody has 10 million dinar, right? So they're all going to go redeem this for $3.50. All right, $3.50. Make it a nice round number. So that 10 million dinar. Here, let me do it on my phone. That way I can show it to you. Be a lot easier. Times 3.50. So there you go. And that's 35 million, folks. Okay. That's just one person in line. That's that first person. Okay. They're going to give $35 million worth of dinar in their transaction, hypothetical. And there's 99 more people behind them, okay, that are going to process through this one redemption center. That's what it is after the 100th person has relinquished their 10 million dinar for exchange for a plastic card with credits on account. So theoretically, 3,500,000,000 dinar or dollars worth of dinar would be in one redemption location. I want you to ask yourself this. Go find one bank, any bank, that has 3.5 billion on-hand currency. You're not. So think about that logically and reasonably, how the numbers apply to what you're doing. So wherever you go, it has to be a very high security area for many reasons. I got into them before. That's why I said nobody knows. All these people out here talking about what a redemption center is going to be, they're full of shit. They're just making it up for whatever, more audience, make themselves look smarter. Could care less. Look at the numbers. Because there's a lot of people coming in there with a shit ton of foreign currency. Not just 10 million dinars. Some people got a shit ton of dong, zim. I mean, just think of the zim. You know, everybody's got, at least one zim note, I would think, whatever denomination, 10, 20, 50, 100. They're pretty affordable. Bigger bang for the buck. And I just covered dinar. That's it. Just one currency. So imagine if somebody walks in and they've got 10 different currencies and all of them are going to exchange. That's an extreme amount of currency to be in one place at one time. So it has to be extremely secure. Think about that. Just use your reasoning. I just tell everybody, follow the numbers. The numbers will tell you everything. Follow the money. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I look forward to doing the trademark class next week. I don't know what day yet. Dr. Sandy Mirecki, retired lieutenant colonel, currently the governor of the Republic of, it's got this long ass name, but she'll be on next week. And I definitely want to talk to her about that. We're going to get into the history. I don't know how much time she has. I emailed her. Let me go look real quick, see if she emailed me back. No. Just some legal stuff. Yep. But I want to dive into the history of the assemblies because, it all goes back to, Tim Turner and those guys. Anna von Reitz was around in all of that and how everything splintered and boom, here we are today. And you've got Desiree Payne's assembly, Anna von Reitz's assembly, all these independent little journal assemblies all across the country, some of them even in other countries. And then you got these other little groups, and you got Scott McKay over here doing his thing. You got the Republic Texas in here doing their thing. So we're going to dive into a whole, oh, golly, can of worms, pot of gold. We're going everywhere. We're just going to take a deep dive and see where we go. I have not spoken to her yet. I asked her to call me this evening or over the weekend in my email so we can chat and, feel each other out, kind of get more comfortable having a casual conversation. So I'm looking forward to that interview. A thumbnail. My fingers slower than my mind. All right. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover today. I don't think I have any comments. Yeah. No comments, no questions. This was not streamed over to Rumble. I will upload that once it processes through StreamYard. Thank you for everybody being here. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next one. And don't forget,